may have to write an argumentative essay. You may have to write about problems and solutions. You may have to write about cause and effects. There's about 5 or 6 different types of questions in this. Okay? If you've done some practice tests, you probably know the different question types. But make sure you're writing the right kind of essay for that question. For example, if the question says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? To what extent do you agree or disagree? What kind of essay would be the best? To what extent do you agree or disagree? Which one's the best? Yeah, argumentative. I agree. I strongly agree. Or I disagree. Strongly disagree. It's an argumentative essay. The best way to do that one is choose one. Choose agree or choose disagree. Don't try and do both. You say, I agree and I disagree. What do you think? I agree and disagree. Choose one. However, if the question is discuss both views and give your opinion, discuss both views and give your opinion, that's called a discursive essay. Discursive means it's, you look at both sides. So I need to talk about this one, and talk about this one, and give my opinion. On the one hand, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, blah, blah, blah. Overall, I agree with this one. So that one is a discursive essay. But other ones, you might get cause and effect, problems and solutions, etc. So think about what kind of essay is the most appropriate. You always have to write at least 250 words. Again, same thing as task 1. If it's under length, you lose points, and the examiners have to count down over 2. So writing big doesn't work. It should take you around 40 minutes, because it is worth 2/3 of your mark. Okay. Some people like to do this one first, other people like to do it second, it doesn't matter. But it is worth 2/3 of your mark. And the categories for the marking are almost the same, except the first one is a bit different. The first one is called task response, but the others are very similar. This one's a little bit different. These two are the same. These two are identical. So remember the links on the website, there were 2 different ones. Make sure you use the correct one. Don't use task 1 for task 2. Here's an example question. It might be a bit small in fact, so I'll read it for you. They say, international tourism has brought enormous benefit to many places. At the same time, there is concern about its impact on local inhabitants and the environment. Okay. Very interesting. What's the question? The question is, do the disadvantages of international tourism outweigh the advantages? What does that mean? The disadvantages outweigh the advantages. What does that mean? It's confusing. My advice is read the question carefully, but rewrite the question in your own words. Rewrite it in your own words to make it simple. Because the questions that IELTS give you, they're often complicated like this. This is very complicated. I don't understand it. But if I change it to, are there more advantages than disadvantages in people traveling abroad? Are there more advantages than disadvantages in people traveling abroad? For me, that's easier to understand. Now I understand. Now I can answer the question. But if I read the question and I don't understand, and I start writing my essay, it's going to be off topic. Because I don't understand the question. So my advice is if you get a complicated question, spend some time to understand it, and then write it in your own words, like this one. It makes it much easier to understand. Planning before you write is always a good idea. Because like task 1, you don't want to write, stop, write, think, write, stop, right? Erase. Planning before you write saves a lot of time. Okay. When we plan, what do? We brainstorm as many ideas as we can. Just think of as many ideas as we can. And then we organize which ones are my best ideas. Okay. And in IELTS, usually you only have 2 ideas. 2 ideas. So what are my best 2 ideas? How can I explain them? How can I explain them? So if I say tourism, the economy, why? I don't know. Not the economy. Culture, why? I don't know why. Not culture. So think about, can I explain this? Do I have any examples to support my ideas? Think about paragraphs. How many paragraphs? How many body paragraphs? In IELTS, probably only 2. Probably only 2 body paragraphs. Which means you only need 2 main ideas. It's actually quite a short essay. This should only take you about 5 minutes, more or less. But it's a good investment of your time. If you think of your ideas first, when you're writing, you're only thinking about language. You can focus on your vocabulary, your grammar, your discourse markers. You're not trying to do both at the same time. If you try and think of ideas and language, it's too much thinking. It's too much work. The structure of the essay is probably going to be 4 paragraphs. Usually 4 paragraphs. Introduction, where we kind of summarize and say what you're going to write about. That's your thesis statement. First paragraph is 1 main idea, just 1. Second paragraph is just 1 main idea. And conclusion is where you summarize and give your opinion. So it's a very simple structure. Very simple. Probably 4 paragraphs. Some people write more. Some people write 3 body paragraphs. It's fine. But probably you just need 2. Probably 2 body paragraphs is fine. And the easiest way to write clearly is to use the P model. The easiest way to write clearly is to do this. First sentence, present your topic. First of all, culture is the greatest benefit of international tourism. First of all, culture is the greatest benefit of international tourism. Short, simple, clear. First sentence. Okay? The second part is explaining. This will take a few sentences, probably 2, 3, 4 sentences. Why? Why is culture the greatest benefit? Well, first of all, people can discover different cultures. People can learn foreign languages. And people can enjoy different kinds of food. Those are my reasons why culture is the greatest thing. And usually we end with an example. For example, when I traveled to Vietnam, I discovered a very different culture from mine, including a very different language and very different food. After discovering Vietnamese culture, I feel like an international citizen, something like that. So it's always good to end with an example. Even if your example is not real, okay, even if it's a lie, it doesn't matter. I've never been abroad. I've lived in my village for all my life. I've never left my village. Tell a lie. For example, in my trip to London, I've never been to London. In my trip to London, I experienced a very unique culture. I've never been to London. It doesn't matter. Telling lies is okay. So for your examples, it's okay to tell a lie. I've been to 74 countries in the world. I've never left my village. 74 countries, and all of them were very unique. It doesn't matter to tell a lie. But if you can follow this model, clear topic sentence, explain, example, you'll get a very good score for organization, because your ideas will be very clear. So the P model is a simple, clear model for each bottom paragraph.